It all started when a team of Egyptologists, equipped with the latest tech, scanned the underground layers beneath one of the smaller pyramids near the legendary Giza plateau. At first, no one expected anything unusual, but then a standard scan of the ground's density revealed something strange, a perfectly symmetrical cavity about 30 feet below the pyramid's base. The equipment picked up clear lines, making it obvious this wasn't a natural formation. Something man-made was buried there, and it hadn't been seen in thousands of years. The archaeologists' curiosity quickly turned into full-blown scientific excitement. Just days after the discovery, experts from around the world were brought in, along with engineers, to carefully examine the stone layers without damaging the unique structure. All the work was done at night to keep away curious onlookers and prevent looters from trying to sneak in. Every movement was recorded on video. A shaft was carefully drilled into the ground, and through it the team began removing massive stone blocks, each weighing almost a ton. Using special equipment and a crew of strong workers, the entire operation was under tight security by the Egyptian police. Around the pyramid, the atmosphere became intense. Armed patrols were stationed at every corner, and officials refused to give any explanation to journalists. The discovery was too big and too risky to talk about. Soon, hieroglyphics experts and specialists in radiocarbon analysis were called in. No one knew what was behind the sealed door, but when the shaft was finally deep enough, the team encountered the first real obstacle, a polished limestone block that looked deliberately camouflaged. A faint line barely visible on its surface hinted at a doorway. Using a small endoscope camera, the archaeologists peered into the cavity. For the first time in millennia, human eyes saw what had been hidden since the time of the ancient builders. The camera showed darkness, and then strange golden-stained surfaces, but the most stunning part was still ahead. The team carefully cleared the passageway, removing limestone debris, until they finally broke into a secret room, a massive chamber covered from floor to ceiling in murals and mysterious symbols. Once they lit the room with high-powered lamps, they realized this wasn't just another burial shaft or a tool storage room. The entire space felt charged with ancient energy. Everything inside was coated with a fine layer of dust untouched since antiquity. The room was rectangular, about 15 feet wide and 30 feet long, and packed with strange objects. In one corner, the team found a massive sarcophagus made of dark green granite, covered in intricate carvings. Nearby were golden and ivory vessels, and part of the wall was decorated with raised carvings of a female figure wearing a crown with a cobra. That's when the first shocking theory was whispered. They might have found Cleopatra's lost tomb. But what surprised the team even more were the unusual items scattered throughout the chamber, things that didn't fit the typical profile of an Egyptian royal tomb. There were fragments of Greek pottery, personal items for both men and women, and tablets engraved in an unknown dialect. Everything pointed to one idea. This room had witnessed the final act in the dramatic life of Egypt's last queen, and there might be even more secrets waiting inside. Before decoding any of the symbols, the team decided to carefully document every object inside. They knew this find could completely rewrite our understanding of Cleopatra's fate. After the initial inspection, the epigraphers took the lead. Every inch of the room's surface was covered in lines, illustrations, tiny hieroglyphs, tall columns of symbols, and strange markings that didn't match traditional Ptolemaic patterns. Experts gently cleaned the walls with soft brushes and captured every detail using high-resolution cameras. The lead archaeologist noticed something extraordinary, a unique blend of Egyptian hieroglyphs and Greek letters. In some areas, even Hellenistic-style rock art could be seen. One specialist quickly spotted an engraved phrase at the center of the back wall, Queen of the Two Worlds, Cleopatra Philadelphus, divided by fate between East and West. Even more fascinating was the sarcophagus lid. It featured an image of a woman holding a royal scepter and the double crown of Egypt, reaching out to a figure in a Greek-style robe. Beneath was a Greek inscription, the last of the Lagids. Another strange symbol was found, a cobra entwined with an owl. A mark never before seen in any known Egyptian tomb. Experts debated whether it was Cleopatra's personal emblem or some secret sign for initiates. Right next to the sarcophagus, they found a set of miniature gold incense bottles and two heavy lapis lazuli seals with rare titles, Bearer of Light and Immortal Among the Stars. As some team members analyzed the inscriptions, another expert noticed odd markings in red ochre near the base of the wall. They formed a semicircle with lion and lioness shapes, symbols of power. In the center was the Eye of Horus, with a wavy line leading to a boat carrying two figures, a man and a woman. One held a scroll with Demotic Egyptian script dating back to the early Roman period. Immediately, the archaeologists connected the imagery to the legend of Cleopatra's escape from the Romans and her mysterious disappearance after the fall of Alexandria. Then came another major clue, a mosaic on the floor made of rare lunar obsidian from Greek islands. Its design featured geometric patterns, a crown shaped like the Horn of Plenty, and a clear image of the goddess Isis, closely associated with Cleopatra in ancient legends. These discoveries confirmed the team's suspicion. This wasn't some noblewoman's forgotten grave. This tomb belonged, at least symbolically, to Cleopatra herself, the way her contemporaries saw her. Inside a niche, the team found a wooden tablet coated in wax. Under magnification, they saw a delicate inscription written with a fine stylus. Year 6 of Cleopatra's reign. The battle is yet to come, but victory will arrive. Light analysis of the wood showed it came from the island of Rhodes, further linking this burial to the Hellenistic world. At the same time, conservators carefully examined the pigments in the murals. The lines were vivid, the colors clear. A seal in the corner confirmed the late Ptolemaic period. Some inscriptions looked like encrypted codes, maybe personal notes or hidden messages for future generations. Spectral analysis of the paint revealed something strange. The gold powder used contained foreign elements not found in other royal tombs. Its chemical makeup suggested trade routes through the Red Sea. In a side chamber, the team made another stunning find, a small metal cylinder engraved with a falcon and the phrase, "Glory to Eternity." Inside was a tiny scroll written in both Greek and Egyptian, likely a farewell message to Cleopatra's son, Caesarion. It spoke of unity, legacy, and secrets hidden beneath the pyramids. As experts worked on decoding the text, archaeologists started mapping all the symbols. They realized everything in the tomb pointed to one place, the sarcophagus in the center of the room. It became clear this whole burial was designed to highlight Cleopatra's unique status among Egypt. The team knew the biggest moment was approaching. They were about to open the untouched burial for the first time in thousands of years. Security tightened. Senior archaeologists lined up around the sarcophagus. Conservators and guards stood ready. Every detail was recorded. Everyone wore masks and gloves. Only tools made of soft wood and ivory were allowed, to avoid disturbing the ancient energy of the tomb. First, the sarcophagus was scanned for traps or hidden mechanisms. Portable X-ray machines revealed a sophisticated locking system built into the grooves of the lid, clearly designed to keep out intruders. The lid had a metal plate with a crescent and snake symbol. To avoid breaking the mechanism, an expert in ancient devices was brought in. He carefully pressed a bronze pin against a spring. A soft click was heard, and the lid shifted an inch. Immediately the team measured humidity, temperature, and air composition to prevent damage to any fragile materials inside. After a few minutes, when conditions stabilized, they were given the green light to continue. Using special lifting straps, 4 workers slowly raised the lid, which weighed over 1,000 pounds. As the granite moved, a rush of cold, stale air escaped, carrying the scent of palm resin and embalming oils. Inside, the first layer was a thick folded textile, fine linen with golden trims. On top of it were malachite beads, copper scarab clips, and a Greek-inscribed amulet reading Queen of Light. All items were gently removed and packed in special containers for immediate analysis. Underneath was a wooden inner coffin made of cedar, inlaid with gold and painted in red and blue. A woman's face appeared on it, wearing a grand crown and eagle-shaped earrings. Experts immediately noted the Hellenistic style, something only Cleopatra herself could have commissioned. Etched along the coffin's edge was a name, Cleopatra VI, a title never found in any other burial. When the inner coffin was lifted, the team finally saw the mummy, wrapped in linen strips sealed with tiny gold ankh charms. On her chest lay a large pectoral of Isis holding the Ouroboros. Around the body were scattered pearls and miniature gold serpents. One detail stood out. A ring on her left hand engraved in Greek, "Cleopatra loves Alexander Arama, daughter of the sun." From a scientific perspective, the discovery of a mummy in such condition was unprecedented. The linens were intact, The face had retained some features, even individual hair strands were preserved with resin and traces of incense. The mummy stood just over 5 feet 3 inches tall, and bore a unique tattoo on her right wrist, a wavy line ending in a small eye of the mountain, never seen in any royal tomb before. At the bottom of the coffin, 2 more bundles were found. One was tightly wrapped cloth with golden bees, symbols of royal power. Beneath it was a small box with a papyrus scroll. The message, in Demotic and ancient Greek, read, "Let future centuries know Cleopatra stayed true to the legacy of both worlds. Here begins a new era of light." The second bundle contained tiny vessels filled with rare oils and fragrant pastes, including a blue iris flower, long seen as a mark of royal purity. And finally, inside the coffin's altar, fixed to the wall, was a bronze disc about 6 inches wide, engraved with, at the center of the tomb, a tangled design symbolized the union of Egypt and the Hellenistic world. In the middle sat a crimson stone, possibly garnet, surrounded by a circular inscription, "To rest forever under the shadow of the pyramids." This kind of layout is only seen in Hellenistic religious artifacts. Once the main burial chamber was fully cleared, the team completed their initial inspection. Every artifact was tagged and moved to a temporary lab table inside the hidden room. From this point on, every discovery would be analyzed in detail by chemists, textile experts, and specialists in ritual items. But outside the sarcophagus, work continued. A sealed area was discovered nearby, with signs of burning on the walls, as if someone had tried to hide or encode something there. Investigations were launched in multiple directions at once. One particular highlight: the recently found gold bottles turned out to contain rare oils imported from Phoenicia. According to ancient records, the cost of just one of these in Old Egypt would have been more than the value of an entire village. Near the mummy's feet, the team found a clear crystal plate, etched with an image of the sun and 2 birds in flight, representing the soul's eternal journey. Experts recorded it as a special ritual charm, likely a personal talisman of the queen. Within hours, archaeologists uncovered even more stunning layers beneath the mummy's platform. They found polished silver remnants, possibly pieces of a ceremonial robe that had been stolen or decayed with time. Biologists immediately took samples for future DNA testing to confirm the identity of the buried figure. Meanwhile, attention shifted to other unusual finds among the burial items: shards of ancient Greek theater masks, tiny gold flakes, images of mythical creatures. These weren't just signs of the deceased's uniqueness, they reflected the complex blending of cultural and religious traditions of that era. Everyone sensed this was just the beginning. These artifacts could soon shine light on events once thought lost forever. Once the lid of the sarcophagus was fully opened and all measurements taken, archaeologists began one of the most delicate operations: retrieving the objects buried alongside the mummy. Each item was carefully documented, photographed, and packed. One of the first standouts: miniature gold statues arranged along the mummy's body. Among them were winged depictions of the goddess Giza, a tiny bust of Alexander the Great adorned with turquoise inlays, and a striking head of Medusa the Gorgon carved in black obsidian with white agate eyes. Closer to the mummy's head, they discovered a small crown of pure gold. In the center, a fixed crimson ruby. Tiny symbols encircled it, combining both Greek and Egyptian motifs. Nothing like it had ever been found in an Egyptian tomb. Until now, these kinds of crowns were thought to be exclusive to Hellenistic rulers. Next to it, on a silk pillow, was a heavy bracelet engraved with a coronation scene. The carving showed the queen receiving symbols of power simultaneously from Egyptian priests and Greek warriors. At the mummy's feet, a tall cylindrical vessel made of rock crystal was uncovered. Inside were traces of a fragrant oil, still detectable after all these centuries. Analysis confirmed the formula was unique, with ingredients imported from ancient Persia. Experts believe this was Cleopatra's personal perfume, described only in ancient texts and thought to be lost forever. Elsewhere, under the sarcophagus, folded real silk fabrics were found, an incredibly rare material in Egypt, likely imported from the Far East. The cloth was rich blue, embroidered with gold lotus and scorpion patterns along the edges. Hidden beneath the silk was a large talisman in the shape of an inverted pyramid, carved from deep blue lapis lazuli. On its back, a secret message written in Demotic script, a riddle meant only for those worthy of its meaning. Not long after, the lead archaeologist spotted something fascinating among scattered items: a miniature silver lyre, a replica of an instrument said to be played only by elite nobility. On its cover, The name Ptolemy was inscribed, dated to Cleopatra's 6th year in power. Near it lay a piece of papyrus, a list of rare incenses and ritual ingredients, some sourced only from India or Crete. Then came another jaw-dropper. A hidden compartment in the wall opened when a carved symbol on the sarcophagus was pressed. Inside, a set of miniature Greek theater masks, each made of fine ivory and coated in gold, a pair of silver coins stamped with Cleopatra's image, one from the first year of her solo reign, the other from the year she allied with Mark Antony. As experts studied the compartment, a conservator carefully removed a long gold hairpin from the mummy's clothes. At the tip was a miniature sculpture of a boat with a sail and crown, both a symbol of Cleopatra's royal power and her control over sea routes between Egypt and the Hellenistic world. In a separate box at the base of the sarcophagus, archaeologists found a set of precious vessels. 6 were solid gold, 3 were transparent rock crystal, carved with lions and griffins. Even after all these centuries, the residue inside had survived. Samples were taken immediately. Preliminary analysis showed the oils included rare resins once brought to Alexandria from East Africa. Among these was a jug with Cleopatra's face and a double crown, an image found only once before on Ptolemaic wall murals. Then came another strange find, a heavy bronze key, engraved with a spiral design. On the handle was a double serpent and a Greek inscription, "The Road to Eternity." It might unlock another hidden chamber, or have been used in a ritual to cross between worlds. Especially intriguing were several irregular gold bars placed right under the mummy's head. Each was stamped with Cleopatra's name, a profile of Mark Antony, and a pattern of interlocked hands. Experts think these bars weren't just symbolic, they were a financial reserve, possibly for secret operations during the final years of the Ptolemaic dynasty. One more astonishing item was found beside the mummy, a miniature cup made of rose quartz, its stem engraved with a ritual offering scene. Cleopatra was shown presenting the cup in traditional Hellenistic fashion. The contents had crystallized, and experts immediately began testing for traces of wine or sacred oils. Behind decorative fragments, the team discovered a cedarwood box filled with thin golden tablets. Each tablet held a short inscription. After comparing the handwriting, the experts were confident. The script matched Cleopatra's inner circle. These were likely personal letters, speeches, or secret communications she wrote herself for elite officials or diplomatic occasions. This overwhelming wave of discoveries left the entire team stunned. Each item wasn't just an artifact, but a piece of a complex, forgotten mosaic from the final days of independent Egypt. The findings demand a complete re-examination of Cleopatra's life. The mummy was so well preserved that specialists immediately began running facial reconstruction tests, analyzing hair structure, and comparing DNA to remains from royal tombs in Illyria and Macedonia. Genetic markers confirmed both ancient Macedonian and Egyptian ancestry, supporting the theory that Cleopatra was a symbol of unity between two worlds, Egypt and Greece. The written materials were just as important. Many of the golden tablets were inscribed in ancient Greek and Egyptian. Several were dated to Cleopatra's 6th year in power and mentioned political alliances with Hellenistic states. One incredible find: a document outlining Cleopatra's naval fleet structure and instructions for negotiating with Rome. This showed she wasn't just a queen caught in court intrigue, she was running a strategic diplomatic network, even secretly using agents and informants. One mosaic showed a double boat with equal-sized figures of Cleopatra and her son Caesarion, a clear symbol of her effort to legitimize him in both Greek and Egyptian traditions. Symbols like the Eye of Horus, the Horn of Plenty, and Isis's crown appeared only in this tomb. Cleopatra had created a sacred code for future generations, designing her legacy as that of a global ruler, not just an Egyptian queen. Special attention was given to a set of coins bearing unique seals and secret markings. One dated to her alliance with Antony, another to her abdication and flight from Alexandria. These weren't meant for public use, they were part of a royal ritual, made from gold mined in Upper Egypt and processed in Alexandria. Each coin contained a hidden message. One read, "Union of light and darkness, a new dawn beneath the pyramids." This flipped the narrative of Egypt's final years on its head. Cleopatra wasn't just fighting for a throne, she was creating a covert language of power hidden from Rome. Her jewelry, crowns, amulets, and rings came from all over, combining Hellenistic style with Egyptian traditions. Some rings showed birds flying over pyramids, hinting at a symbol system Cleopatra likely designed herself. Analysis of the oils in the crystal and gold jars revealed trade routes linking Egypt to India, Persia, and the Greek islands, supporting legends of Cleopatra as the most sophisticated woman of her time and confirming her deep influence on international markets. Meanwhile, secret compartments sealed with bronze locks held ritual masks and coded letters. One letter, addressed to her son, detailed hidden deals with the rulers of Parthia and North African tribes. Even after Alexandria's fall, Cleopatra was still planning a Ptolemaic comeback. Layer by layer, century-old dust gave way to revelations that not only rewrote her biography, but changed our understanding of the ancient world itself. This tomb didn't just confirm Cleopatra's identity and legacy, it revealed a deliberately encrypted reality of her final years. Each artifact, each inscription, each preserved object held a clue that might reshape history's view of